All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the August 16th meeting of the Ware Board of Selectmen. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, brings us to the swearing in of our new officer. I recognize Chief Moore.
Right, good evening. So we're going to hire, and the board's already approved, Seth Gilmette. He's originally from Nashua, New Hampshire. Graduate of Pinkerton Academy in 2017. He currently resides in Ware. He enlisted in the United States Marine Corps after graduating from Pinkerton Academy in 2017, where he was in the infantry on a scout on the sniper team. He was honorably discharged earlier this year after serving 4 years. He passed the Academy PT test this morning. We'd like to congratulate him on that. And he'll be starting, hopefully, this next academy. We're recommending he be hired in at the probationary rate under Police Officer 2 at $22.88 an hour. As of, per the CBA, April 1st, 2022, next year, he goes to $23.57, and upon completion of probation, which would be 6 months after the completion of the field training, PO4, Step 1, which would be $24.51 an hour. He currently gets no college incentives. Leave, we're going to start him with 4 years credit for military service, being in the Marine Corps, at 120 hours annual vacation.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
All right.
There's some room if they want to come in and
Yeah,
stand.
yeah, if everybody wants to come in, there's still room.
Come on in. Ryan, you guys can come over here. Ryan, or somebody. Yeah. Yeah, come on over.
Stand up here if you
Yep.
guys don't mind.
No, not at all. There's a seat there. There's a seat right there.
Okay.
You sure we shouldn't have got the town hall?
Yeah, right?
What's the start date?
Naomi, you want to do another motion?
Start date.
You want to do another motion?
You can do the motion.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I don't have the information.
You've got it.
I don't have it. No.
It just got passed on to somebody.
Right
There we
there.
go. All right. And start date?
It's going to be tomorrow.
All right. Make a motion, we hire Seth Gilmette for the Ware Police Department. Starting at a rate of $22.88 per hour, effective August 16th, 2021.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's test it.
Oh, you're not in the TV. Go that way. Go that way. No. Wherever you need to be. Go to the podium. There we go.
I, I, Seth Gilmette, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent on me as a full-time police officer according to the best of my abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations, the Constitution, and the laws of the state of New Hampshire. So help me God. Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you. Wait.
There you go.
Who are you?
One of my bigger brothers.
All right.
What's his name?
Joseph. Thank you. Congratulations.
So one thing we do like to do at Ware Police is we like to make people feel at home. That includes our new employees. One thing that Seth has to do to become officially sworn in is to sign his oath of office to make him feel at home since he was a Marine. That's good.
And a date.
No, it's already lefty too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
You're awful hard.
Got anything more for me?
You're all set, we are too.
All right, thank you.
Are you
Thank you,
staying for
everyone.
the public hearing? For the ARPA money?
Oh, yeah, I can take it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take pictures.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to take a family photo.
Oh,
And Lee usually follows them out.
yeah, but I'm coming back.
Okay.
I want to hear about the, oh, no, I'm not, I'll let him do that. I've
Okay.
got pictures.
Okay.
I want to hear about the.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's up next, right?
Thank you.
Yes.
So it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd my sign-in sheet go?
Sign-in sheet?
Brandon stole it.
Yeah, figures.
I'm sure you'll see it back sometime within next 3 to 10 business days.
Yeah, after it's been modified.
Yeah. All right. Now we can all hear each other again. Move on to the Eagle Scout project presentation for approval. Recognize Josh.
Thank you.
Josh, you can pull it down the top.
I'm more comfortable like this.
Okay.
More comfortable.
No problem.
Yeah.
You have to speak close to the microphone with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm not used to doing these.
Okay. It's okay.
Take
Just
a-
breathe.
take a
We're
deep
just
breath, take
we're
a
just
breath.
people.
They're extras.
Fair enough.
Oh, great,
So my name is Josh Moore. I'm a life scout from Where to 529. I'm planning my Eagle project, and I'm here to present my plan. I want to build an information kiosk at the entrance to Chase Park so that important information can be posted in one place for park patrons to easily read. I presented this plan to Park at their June 8th meeting and received their approval. My plans are to install the kiosk in the fall timeframe, build the kiosk offsite so there's minimal disturbance to park patrons, notify DigSafe before putting posts into the ground. Once built, it should only take 1 to 2 days to install. And after that, add a flower bed with flowers underneath the kiosk so it looks nice. And the next 3 pages are pictures that I photoshopped into the backdrop. And the second one is the drawing, the schematic I made last night of all the measurements. I thought it was the same thing. Some additional information, this project will be at no cost to the town. All funding will come from donations and fundraisers such as car washes and/or bake sales. Targeting completion is before winter. If there are any delays for any reason, the kiosk will be installed once Chase Park opens for the 2022 season. Work will be done by scouts, friends, and volunteers. If the Board of Selectmen approve the plan tonight, I will go before the Daniel Webster Council Eagle Board for final approval. This should occur by October at the latest.
Josh, is this meant to take the existing signs and move them?
Yes,
It is, okay.
this is what it will look like with the signs on it.
Okay. So the existing signs that are up there currently will come down? Okay.
We moved on to that sign.
And what kind of material are you going to be using?
2x4s and T111 board.
Are you gonna be cementing the posts into the ground? Okay. And is it, I'm assuming pressure-treated wood?
I'm not sure. I've never used and worked with T111, but I think
I'm talking about the posts going
Oh.
into the concrete.
probably not. Probably. I have.
I would recommend
I would
pressure-treated
recommend it. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll keep that in mind.
Whatever you can use for it as pressure treated, definitely use it.
Anything in ground contact, anything that's gonna touch the ground, if it's not pressure-treated, it'll rot faster.
How far do you plan on putting the post in the ground?
Enough so far enough down so it doesn't fall over in the wind, or like snap.
That's a pretty big sign, and the winds that we get are gonna
Yeah.
have a
It's only
effect on it.
yeah.
Probably 4 feet would be safe.
Yeah, at least.
4 feet with concrete should be fine.
3 feet would even be fine.
I think 3 feet would be
Be
fine.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
You put it in sauna tubes, you dig the hole, put them in sauna tubes, and fill it with concrete. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
And I see the flower bed underneath it.
Yep.
Going forward, is Parks and Rec going to be handling planting of that? Okay.
We actually have plans for some other flower beds at the park.
Okay. And is this gonna be painted or stained?
I think stained. If not, the main part will probably be painted.
Okay. And looks like it's got a small roof to the top of it?
Yes.
Shingle or metal?
Metal.
There's no lights or anything on this, right?
Any other questions? No?
No.
Sure. All right, and I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a
Make a
motion
motion
we
that-
approve Josh Moll's Eagle Scout project for the kiosk at Chase Park.
Second.
Any discussion? Moving seconded, all in favor?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Just keep us posted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. Your public hearing's not till 7.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at the time. All right.
Anyone, you don't need anything from
Nope. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will do the, well,
Do public comment first?
Public comment.
I was thinking that, but I didn't know how long it was gonna run. That was my only thing.
We can always
You've
stop
got,
and...
you've got Tom and you've got Clay here.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Do you want to do department heads?
Shush.
Public comment, give it over to-
All right, gonna move things around a little bit because we are still a little short on the public hearing at 7. So recognize Tom Clow for the town hall landscape.
Before I go into the details of the landscaping, on Wednesday, the trustees of the trust fund approved the expenditure of up to $5,200 to be taken out of the Emma Sawyer Trust Fund, from the earnings from the Emma Sawyer Trust Fund, in order to pay for the project. Now, I have a proposal here from Stockhouse Enterprises, and that's the same company that does all of the landscaping for the town around the, I think he does the fields and around the town hall and the gazebo area. And so we're dealing with somebody who has proven himself to the town already. And what I have is a proposal, which I'll read through with you, for $51.50. The trustees just rounded it off. I presented the same information to them.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, thank you.
You can have mine when I'm finished, if you'd like. Okay. What this project would involve is a low-profile wall made out of a decorative block in a circular pattern on the lower side of the sign, the lower post, in order to bring it up level, the space underneath it level with the upper post. And the hardscape, as Peter called it, part is going to be done by McQuarrie's Hardscape, who he knows well and has worked with before. It would involve then loam and seeding by Stockhouse Enterprises. So they'd build the curved retaining wall on the lower part, only about 20 inches high, and it will circle around and into the ground flush on the upper side. Then they'll fill the area within the wall with crushed stone, and then cover that with landscape fabric and top that off with soil and mulch. It also, and I have some pictures here too, but I only made one of each rather than printing out colored photos for all of you. It would also involve removing and replacing the blocks around the flagpole, which are all kind of falling apart. They'd use the same matching curve pattern and the same kind of blocks on the lower wall. And also there are commemorative bricks that were donated, and those will all be taken out and then reset as part of the project around the flagpole. The area outside of any disturbed area outside of the wall will be reseeded with grass right up to the wall in order to make it easy to maintain. Labor, materials, and company costs, $51.50. Okay? Now, it's a little crude here. The wall is shaped like the most handy bowl out of my pantry. This shows the area around the flagpole that's going to be redone. Kind of got the idea.
Is it gonna be right angled like this, or is it gonna be rounded?
It's going to be rounded.
It is, okay.
Yeah, this is just a picture from the front of the Legion, because I think it sort of complements what
Because
we're
we have
planning to
curved
do
out.
here.
Right. Yeah, and
Okay.
distance.
That's presently in front of the Legion.
Yeah, that's a nice wall.
Yeah.
And this just shows the type of block that is going to be used.
Now, are they gonna put the capstone on, like, the Legion doesn't have the capstone? Are they
No,
planning
I
on?
think the plan is to do that. I'll have to double check with him. We talked about it.
Okay.
Whatever is the most attractive. The other part is that I'd really like somebody else not to do the work on this, but to look it over, maybe even meet with me and Peter, so it's not hung out there as a one-person's decision. I've kind of gone down that road before and doesn't always work out. So I really would like to have at least one other board member at some point. We could arrange maybe late afternoon sometime to go over, and so you'll see exactly where the curved wall will be, and maybe you can get a sample of the stone as well, or the brick, so that you can see what it is we're going to be using. So what I'm asking for tonight is your approval to go ahead with the project. Now, I know that you usually need 3 bids, but there are 2 factors here. Number one, to go apples to apples with this and get 3 bids would be very difficult. Second, since you have somebody doing it who's already working for the town, I think you can legitimately see it as as extra work given to the town contractor, because I don't have two bids that match this.
Right.
I did look at two other alternatives. One was a concrete, preformed concrete pieces placed on either side and at the foot of the sign. That went over like a lead balloon with a couple of people I talked to, so we put that to one side. And then we looked at, well, what if we were doing the same thing with granite? The granite pieces would be about $1,500 each. And that doesn't count putting them in place. So this seemed like a attractive proposal. The money isn't much cheaper than the granite, but I think it's probably in the same ballpark by the time the granite was put in place. But I think that it does kind of coincide with the project at the Legion next door. And maybe it's a little lighter looking than pieces of granite laying into the ground there.
Right. John, you want to follow up with Tom and Pete?
Yeah, just
Okay.
give me a call sometime and I'd be happy to meet you up there.
Okay, I'll call you, we can set some times, and I'll see when Peter can do it, and we go over together some afternoon.
Perfect.
Okay?
And I'll move that we accept the bid from Stockhouse Enterprises for 5150, rounded up to 5200 as the trustees did, for the completion of the hardscape and landscape work at the sign in front of the town hall.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Clay, about how long's yours? Thank. Yep. Come on up.
You go.
You're next. We'll recognize Clay from the library.
Okay, you can go first. Sure. You know, this is Josh Hilliard, he's a trustee.
Even better.
It's good to see some familiar faces. I'm sure some of you might not know me personally, though. I'm Josh Hilliard. I'm one of the trustees for the library. I'm acting as the treasurer right now. And my understanding is we have some American Rescue Funds will be available for certain projects throughout the town. And one of the ones the library wanted to present to you all today was working on the windows and shades. So if I may, I have some materials to hand out to you. I'll talk through it very quickly. As you might know, over the past year, we worked very carefully with the funds of the library to do some improvements. And we're thankfully able to do that, but of course, you know, we don't really have a budget to complete much in the way of improvements. So one of the issues we're seeing in particular is in the Sawyer room downstairs. Those windows are very old. We have moisture infiltration. We have issues with just bad, you know, airflow down there in terms of heating the room during the winter or cooling it during the summer. And you try to open them and paint just kind of cracks and breaks as you try to open the windows, you know, in and of themselves. So that's a real big concern of ours, and we think that would be an excellent use of some of those funds if they were able to be used for the library for that capital improvement there. And one of the other concerns we have as well is the shades upstairs in the page room, as well, very dated, very old. Just starting to come apart, and we have concerns about safety and just, again, properly heating and cooling the room with newer shades. We hope that'll help improve that. We do have, as you may know, of course, the new Mitsubishi units throughout the building, which are, you know, really helping. But we hope with these sorts of changes as well, it'll, you know, better improve, of course, our energy efficiency moving forward.
Okay. Perfect.
So I also have that, and I have as well copies of those bids for you all. I apologize, I don't have copies for everyone for those, but I do have a copy.
Oh, I was going to just give them to me.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep. Just have one hand.
Thank you, Josh.
Yep.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. We have Clay, of course, from the library, and we have one of our alternates as well, Daniel Bretzius,
Yeah, perfect.
all here just to kind of lend support for this.
All right. Well, we got to have the hearing and accept it first, so. But, yeah, no,
We haven't
we'll,
even accepted the money yet.
no, we haven't even
understood.
accepted it
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, but if you have any questions about this, happy
Okay.
to answer.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Knock the manifest out.
You could
Yeah.
attack the manifest.
Yeah, I hit the manifest, I guess, yeah. All right. Move on to the manifest at this point in time. All right, move to order treasurer sign payroll and accounts payables checks dated
August 19th, 2021, as including the following manifest. Payroll manifest is $67,365.56 for weekly payroll, and accounts payable manifest of $89,520.36, and John Stark for $400,000, for a total of $556,885.92. The following manifests were previously ordered to be signed at the August 2nd meeting of the Ware Board of Selectmen. A payroll manifest of $65,265.65 for weekly payrolls, checks dated 8/12. Accounts payable manifest of $59,433.99, checks dated 8/12. And as there is no Selectmen's meeting scheduled for Monday, August 23rd, further order the treasurer to sign payroll checks dated August 26th, estimated to be about $75,000. Further order treasurer to sign up to the amount of $80,000 for accounts payables that cannot wait until the next scheduled meeting. Reports and actual check amounts will be reported to the Board of Selectmen by inclusion in the manifest memo at the next scheduled meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Moving second, and all in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Abstentions? Nays? We have it.
That was too fast.
Yeah.
You got 2 minutes.
We got 2 minutes.
Hang on 1 second. Let me catch up.
Yeah. We'll let our recording secretary catch up.
I don't know if I have everybody that's here. I know you're familiar. I can't remember your name though. Yeah.
Janice Matthews.
That's Janice Matthews. Just making sure I got everybody. Actually, you wanna plug in? Beth's gonna use this tonight.
Oh, perfect.
You guys got a handout, but no one else has got one.
Fancy schmancy.
I'm gonna try. He's just gonna stand over there.
Is this for discussion under your report?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Did you get that?
I do. Everybody got one.
Trying to hand it. Where did that go?
Yeah, mouse pad. There.
What's that one?
1 minute. Those guys are having their own meeting out there, so.
I see that. Okay, I'm gonna move, it's 7 o'clock, I'm gonna move to order, have a public hearing for, testimony and comment on acceptance of the American Rescue Plan Act funds in the amount of $951,733.58 to be distributed in 2 installments. 2021 will be $475,866.79, and 2022 will be the same amount. The ARPA was signed into law by President Biden to provide direct relief to all cities, towns, and villages across the United States affected by COVID-19. Recognize Finance Director Beth Rose.
Okay. I know tonight you're just planning on the public hearing for accepting the funds, but I didn't know if you wanted to just do a little quick recap on what's available.
Yes,
And
wouldn't hurt.
then you also asked for the department heads to do
Wish lists.
Wish list. I don't like that, but wish list is fine.
Do you want me
Okay.
to try to see
Needs
it?
list.
Do you want me to try to see if we can?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, that's gone away.
Does the camera zoom?
We'll try it.
Oh, slowly.
Thinking about
I
it.
can go fast.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry. But you don't want to see. Oh, we can see everybody's feet. There we go. Sorry. I don't run the remote at home, can you tell? Dig, he's not watching, so.
Oh.
Yeah, let's see it on the YouTube.
We don't have cable, so we have DirecTV, so
Oh yeah, look at that.
getting close.
That's working pretty good.
Better than the last time.
Look at that. All right.
If the light, if we shut the light off, would it be better?
Yeah.
And then you'll all fall asleep.
Try the other one? There we
I'll go
go.
sleep.
Oh.
Oh.
All right, well, there's 4 major categories for the use of the funds. I broke it up into 5 because the first 2 really are specific to certain items. So the public health and economic impacts is for funding for COVID-19 mitigation efforts. Medical expenses, behavioral health care, and certain public health and safety staff. The second one, which is still part of the first one, addresses the negative economic impacts caused by the public health emergencies, including economic harms to workers, households, small businesses, impacted industries, and the public sector. The third category, or second really, is the provide the premium pay for essential workers, which is offering additional support to those who have and will bear the greatest health risk because of their service in critical infrastructure sectors. Another category is invest in water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure, making necessary investments to improve access to clean drinking water, support vital wastewater and stormwater infrastructure, and to expand access to broadband internet. And the last category is to replace lost public sector revenue, using this funding to provide government services to the extent of reduction in revenue experienced due to the pandemic. For the first one, the public health and economic impacts. So the mitigation and prevention efforts for COVID-19 include, and I just listed a few, there's many that could be listed. So vaccination programs, medical expenses, testing, contact tracing, quarantine costs, capacity enhancements, public communications efforts, PPE, ventilation improvements, and adaptations to public buildings to implement COVID-19 mitigation tactics. So talking to the department heads, there was air conditioning units with HEPA filters was a concern. The quantity they'd like to purchase is 12. So we'd be replacing the existing AC units here in the town office building, plus installing a new unit in the transfer station building. For air exchangers and air purifiers, the quantity would be 10. And this is to install new units in rooms in common areas that are most accessed by the public. Town office building, safety complex lobby, town hall, and one in the library. The DPW would like to convert the waste oil furnace to conventional oil or pellet furnace. The waste oil furnaces emit dangerous toxins into the air. This public health and economic impact really stresses ventilation improvements. And the last one would be the electronic message board, and this is to purchase an additional electronic message board for the purpose to alert and communicate with the public. And this one falls under the public communications effort category. The next category we have is the address negative economic impact caused by the public health emergency. So the types of uses for this one is assistance to household, food, rent, mortgage, utility assistance, assistance to small businesses and nonprofits, loans or grants to mitigate financial hardship, technical assistance, counseling, or other services to assist with business planning needs, and then aid to impacted industries such as tourism, travel, and hospitality. The town of Ware currently budgets for assistance to households, and to date there has not been a significant request for assistance due to COVID-19. We also do not have a community economic development program, which if we did, that would impact the travel, the tourism, hospitality. So the provide premium pay for essentials. Now all departments wish that we would go for this one. However, the definition of premium pay is an amount up to $13 per hour in addition to the wages the workers otherwise receive. And it's not to exceed $25,000 per eligible worker. As this premium pay is defined as an addition to the employee's current hourly rate, it would become a future commitment from the taxpayers of Ware. Second to last one is the invest in water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure. Eligible users within this category allow for a broad range of necessary investments in projects that improve access to clean drinking water, improve wastewater and stormwater infrastructure systems, and provide access to high-quality broadband services. We're talking with the department heads. They would like reverse osmosis water systems. 5, to install a water system into the town hall, the town office building, safety complex, highway garage, and the transfer station. This would remove impurities from the water so that it may be consumed by staff and the public. If we're going with that route, we'd also like the water bottle filling stations, and these would be installed also at the town office building, the police department, fire department, Department of Public Works garage, and the library. This is to replace the existing public water fountains that we currently have. There's a risk of leaving saliva on the foundation, as well as the virus may linger on the surface. The town currently spends over $1,100 annually on bottled water, and these two items combined would eliminate that expense. And the last category is to replace lost public sector revenue. And this is to be used for the provision of government services, which may include maintenance or pay-go funded building of infrastructure, modernization of cybersecurity, including hardware, software, and protection of critical infrastructure, health services, and the provision of police, fire, and other public safety services. The requests were to replace all portables, pagers, and mobiles within the fire department. The quantity would be 35 pagers, 35 portables, and 6 mobiles. This is to offset a future expenditure. Replace a 10-wheel plow truck for the highway department. This is to offset a future expenditure. And then the one that all departments agree upon is upgrade to the town's emergency services radio communication center to offset a future expenditure. So those 9 items are what the department heads requested, using those categories and the funds that are available. We have costs for maybe 2 of the 9 items, but we're not going to move forward until we approve even accepting the funds. Once you accept the funds, then department heads will go out and get your costs.
We could
for you.
still make changes along the way. For
Absolutely.
instance, the windows that were brought tonight.
Yeah.
You know, there's other things that
Yep.
we may or may not find.
Oh, yeah, this is not set in stone. But
No. Just an example with the guideline that we were provided.
Mm.
She whittled it down and did it this way for you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
I'd
you.
like to see what the expenditures are, what the projects would be, and then just muddle together and then knock them down, like what's the priority-wise, what's most important to the town as a whole. A couple of them, so to replace a 10-wheel plow truck, that is not obviously COVID-19 related, but if you look at the wording from the mailer, because of the loss of revenue and because of COVID, the Finance Committee didn't approve the purchase of the highway truck. So it's not COVID-19 related, but because of the COVID-19 threat, spending of the money was really minimum last March.
Now, you sent us 2 documents. One was the full gamut
Yep.
on it, and one was the FAQs.
Okay, the final rule and the, yep.
Right. The actual official document, how many pages was it?
Originally, it was like 138, but then they made it into that small, tiny print 3-column document, which ended up being 49 pages.
49
Same amount of
pages.
information, but
Right.
very small.
Smaller text.
Right.
Small text.
I guess I, as one sitting member, would just, I'm perfectly okay with all 9, plus what the library's brought. I would just want to make sure we run it by legal counsel and make sure that it's on the up and up and
Oh, yeah.
legit 100%.
So if we accept these funds, how do we, these going to go into its own dedicated
Fund.
account, if you will, fund? Or is it going to be mixed in with the general fund?
Right now, it's in the general fund.
Okay.
That's where it was direct deposited into. It's obviously for accounting, auditing purposes. It is the financial requirements on recording where this money is going is very high. We can absolutely move it into a separate fund if you feel more comfortable doing that.
I would like to.
Personally, I would
I would
feel a
like
lot more
to.
comfortable
Yeah.
with that.
Absolutely. Yep, that way we can track it.
Just better
I mean, we'll
tracking.
track it either way, but-
Easier tracking.
And then it is my understanding, reading through that painful 49-page document, that the money has to be whatever's not spent is reverted back to the federal government in 2026?
Yes, it goes back to the state first.
Goes to the state first?
Yep, and then the state, what they do with it. I believe
Okay.
they send it on to the,
Okay.
Take 10% off the top.
Yeah. Anybody else have any ideas? Thoughts, concerns, wishes?
No, I just know that number 9's been a topic that this board and
Well, we're still waiting on Motorola to get back to us before we...
right. No. I know that number 9's been been discussed very heavily between the department heads and this board, and I'm very happy to see it listed on there, and hopefully we can, with the help of Motorola, move forward with that.
by any chance, do you know if that'll be ready for March of 2022?
That I don't know.
We were told maps would be ready in August, We haven't run out of August yet,
No.
so I'll be hopeful.
Okay.
He had said he would have us maps by August. We do have some pricing, but I think there was some other avenues.
some new
on
ideas
some
that
new
were
ideas
presented,
and
yep.
some new mapping that he's doing to see if there might be a better location to get more coverage.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Yeah, depending on what the price tag of that project would be, obviously that sounds like that's gonna move to the top of the list, and then whatever earmarked for that project, and then the rest of it would be
Yeah,
used for
once
the.
we know the numbers from
Yeah.
Motorola.
Right, which we
Yeah,
really
okay.
don't know
And then we'd
right
put those
now.
into a
Yeah.
priority list.
Ma'am, would you turn the lights back on, please?
we determined.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. That is bright. Mm-hmm. Oh, hi. The other way, please. Yeah, I missed a spot shaving, okay? No. Okay. So now the micro presentation has been done. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
Any board members like to speak to it?
I'd like to hear what the public has to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think everything pretty much sent in that they put on the top 10, the top 9 items.
Right.
Pretty much, some of those are really,
Plus library's request.
Plus the library.
plus those will be top 10, but, yeah, like the water system is.
Yeah,
I
that's,
mean, you can't use the water in here half the time for the other garages, so
right.
putting that with the RO with the water
Correct.
station makes it a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big concern.
Absolutely. So, anybody else? All right, I will open the floor to the public comment. Neil?
Thank you, Rick. Good evening. Neil Kirk, Mount Dearborn Road. I'm concerned about the process by which this money is going to be spent. And if, I'll ask you a couple of questions. If you don't have the answers tonight, perhaps you can get back to me or however you want to do it. First question is, can the selectmen spend this money without further vote of the town? Second, if this has to go before the town as a warrant article, are the selectmen proposing to package this, or will there be individual items? For example, there were 9 items or whatever. Will each one of those be a separate warrant article, indicating there's no cost to the town because the money is coming from this COVID pot? Or do you propose to put in a $475,000 warrant article so there's no choice for folks except to vote yay or nay? I would hope that the board would get voter input before they spend this money. Not just the first tranche, but the second tranche as well, because it's $475,000 a year for 2 years. And I would also hope that, however you do it, you give voters the choice so that because there's something in there that people really don't like that you didn't realize, the whole thing doesn't go down. So let me just ask this question. Do you know whether, at this point, whether or not this is going to go before the voters, or do you believe, based on legal advice, that this is something that the board can spend on its own without further voter input?
I believe either is acceptable.
I don't believe we've had
But
that
we have
discussion
not.
yet.
But we have not had that conversation yet.
Okay.
But I believe that either is.
You might want to check with the municipal association or the town's attorneys
And
to
that's
find
what.
out.
Yeah, we planned on that. Absolutely.
And if there is a choice, I would hope that the selectmen do respect the voters by putting it to voters rather than making the decision on their own and running the risk that their favorite project might not be approved. But I think I certainly would feel much better as a voter knowing that I had my say on how we spend a lot of money, because although it doesn't affect my town taxes, eventually it's going to affect my federal taxes.
It already did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Right.
Sorry, I walked away with your remote.
Yeah, please leave that.
We'd be chasing you.
Frank Campana. I'm going to reiterate from what I'm going to say now from several meetings back. I guess probably the only analogy I can come up with, poor as it may be, you know, somebody's going to give me a brand-new house, but the upkeep and maintenance is on your bill, or my bill. I can't disagree with too much that I heard tonight, but again, I want to know whatever you folks approve, whether you do it behind closed doors or you do it publicly, I don't know how that's going to work. But whatever you approve, I would like to know what it's going to obligate me as a taxpayer in the future. Communications, I mean, that sounds great, but what's it going to cost to, again, I'm not speaking against it, or I'm not speaking for it, but there's going to be a cost passed on to the taxpayers. I wasn't quite understanding the pay aspect, with essential pay, best as I could, essential workers pay increase, I guess. That's not the correct term.
Premium
But
pay for essential workers.
Premium pay, right. It seems to me that, if I recall, that the fire department personnel, police department personnel, sometime over the last year and a half, or I'll even say from the beginning of the year, sometime last year, they got some type of stipend because of COVID. Seems like they're getting it again. I don't know if I can't imagine, but who knows the way government here and the way government works. Is that going to be an increase in their pay that I'm going to have to absorb as a taxpayer? That's a question in my mind. I heard the highway truck mentioned. I think I was probably speaking with Beth sometime in the past. I think I was probably a pretty good advocate for that. But does that mean that the highway director is not going to ask for an additional truck as you know, as a replacement, you know, in a replacement cycle? So he'll end up getting two. Can he get two trucks? You know, and then he will ask on a warrant article, well, I want another truck, but now he's up to 3 trucks. So, and things like that worry me. You know, what's going to be my tax impact for your decisions on how to spend this money? That's a lot of money. And I think there's one town in the state that they're either not accepting it, I'm speaking kind of a little bit from memory, they're either not accepting it, or they're going to accept, you know, and use a portion of it, then send the rest of it back. I can't see that this board here, the first $450,000, you're going to find a way to spend it. That's for sure. And probably, you know, I might do the same thing. But again, you're in control of my tax money. So that's where the rub comes. So that's the only comment that I have for now. And well, I actually, again, when I was addressing my concerns way back, Selectman Van said, well, they're going to be transparent in how to spend it. It'll be interesting to see how, you know, how discussions go and how transparent you'll be. You know, I'm always a little bit reluctant, you know, to trust government to do things up front. You know, there have been paid by you folks, there have been pay raises distributed out without me as a taxpayer having a say on it, but my obligation is there. So same thing can happen here. So I would say, you know, my suggestion would to be, you know, to walk very softly and, you know, make it known what your decisions are and the reasons behind your decisions and what is an ultimate cost. Thanks.
Frank. Tom.
I guess the overall purpose of this meeting is to accept the money. And so I certainly agree with accepting the money. As far as where it's spent, I do think that the top of your list should be the emergency communication system. Anybody who's sat on this board for very long knows how much tinkering has been done in order to get even to the point it is now, and it's never really complete. You know, there have been repeaters that were placed on the various sites around town, and then most recently those were converted from solar battery operated to straight electricity to improve it, and I'm not sure how that improved it or how much, but it's gone on year after year, decade after decade, I swear, with trying to get it to a point where that policeman or a fireman could pick up the radio and get instant contact, and that's what we need. So that, to me, when you start making decisions on where the money's going to go, would move to the top of the list. The other thing, there were people who wouldn't come to the Finance Committee meetings last year because they felt in danger in this room because it's so enclosed. So I think that in a public meeting room like this, that a good investment would be to have an air filtration system. And I think that with a drop ceiling like this, it could be done, you know, fairly efficiently. So, you know, there are other portions of the building too, and other probably community rooms in the town. But this one is used so much by so many different committees. And who's to say what's going to come around next for a virus, or whether the ones we have now are going to go away in the near future. So I would suggest putting that near the top of your list too. And the other thing I mentioned about the truck, remember that last year there was not a truck bought. And the Finance Committee didn't because we didn't know where the economics of the time were coming. But it was clearly stated that we didn't want to get off cycle, that all of these trucks were needed as far as replacements, but we felt that we could skip 1 year and then move on. So getting a truck through this fund and putting one on the warrant would not be really anything that I would think would be objectionable to voters, because we skipped last year's. So the last year purchase would be plugged in through these funds, and then we'd move ahead and get back on schedule with replacing the trucks that need to be replaced. But that's just my opinion. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Janice Matthews from Woodbury Road. I also am in favor of accepting these funds. You've already answered one of my questions, was whether this was going to be in a separate fund or going into the general, and I do believe you've got it right by putting it in a separate fund, so thank you for that. I am kind of torn whether or not I think it should go in front of the voters or not. I think you guys can probably make a better decision on that than I can. I do think as far as transparency goes, putting it in front of the voters is a good thing. But you're going to get what you get, so you can't change it once you do that. I do believe that the communication system does need to be priority number one. How you go and filter out the other 9 or 10 or 8 or 9 that are left, I'm not sure. But the communication system is a life-altering event waiting to happen, in my opinion. It's a liability for the town. And when you're talking about people's lives in terms of citizens and our police officers, it's a no-brainer. We have to do it. And if we can't spend this money, we've got to spend the money somewhere else. So if there's any way you can use this money to do it, the taxpayers would appreciate it, and I know that our police officers would as well. So that's all I had to say. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, Janice.
Anybody else like to speak? Either chief? Yes, no? If there's no other conversation, we will close the public hearing at 7:26.
I agree with pretty much everything everybody said up at the podium this evening. Yep. And I, for one, I would like to accept the funds.
Yes, absolutely.
Is that a motion?
Make a motion, we accept the funds totaling $951,733.58, split up between 2 payments from the American Rescue Protection Act
Second.
to be put in its own dedicated fund.
Stop. Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
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 Unanimous.
I think for the next step, though, I think there's some questions that were raised tonight that we need
Yes.
to get answers to first.
Mhm.
And then,
I would agree.
I just need to make a comment, just one back. What we decide to buy is not gonna be behind closed doors, as there
No.
was a comment made earlier.
No.
It's gotta be out in the public, but we still have to get some answers first.
Right.
I think some of the concerns were brought up that the taxpayers want some say in this, and I don't disagree with that. Personally, I think waiting till warrant articles, I think is, in my opinion, not the best of ideas. I'd be more in favor of having a public hearing to spend the money here.
Absolutely.
At one of these meetings, but to wait till warrant article time, I think is not the best way to do it. That's my opinion.
And I don't think that adding second alternatives or third alternative to an article is just gonna be too confusing, because you typically go in there and say yes or no, it's not a maybe.
Mhm.
Or it's not an alternative, if you're going to the ballot. So I think we've talked about this before, is trying to, do away with confusion. I just think by saying, well, even if you wanted to individually buy things, and then my other question would be, what if no means no? I don't know. So we still have some answers to get.
And the other thing too is we have a changing variant right now. So there's a lot of things that we need to react to on the fly, I'll call it. Month to month, quarterly to quarterly that change because obviously recommendations change from the CDC. And we need to be able to react with that. So that would be my thought is like you said, entertain a public hearing fully. But to wait to warrant season, the ship might have sailed at that point.
And we'll still have to follow the same purchasing policy set forth
Absolutely.
for
Yeah, it'll have to-
any other expenditure.
it'll have to be bidded.
Free bids,
Absolutely.
all that
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
But I
So-
think the actual expenditure of the money, having a public hearing would be the most advantageous and expedient way of getting these items requested taken care of.
With taxpayer input.
Yep.
So, okay. Well, we'll roll back. If everybody's all set, we'll roll back a little bit to public comment.
Thank you guys for coming.
Yep. Tom?
Just something that popped into my mind, the term economic development program and our lack of it came to mind when Beth was making the presentation. We have, the Where in the World, we have a special business issue coming out this week because we don't accept ads, but this one is full of free ads for every business in town that wanted to put something in it along with highlighting certain businesses. Now, I was going to write an article about our Economic Development Committee. I went to we used to have one. I went to our website and I think there's one sentence that describes its function and that's all. And the reason I'm saying this is that maybe there are people listening who think that it would be important to reestablish an economic development committee for the town because there isn't one, and we have a definition that's one sentence long as far as what its function was when we did have one. So I think it would be a good idea, and so if there are people listening who also think that, then maybe they could band together, and because it's on the books, but there's no membership.
No activity.
The other thing I'd just like to kind of highlight what Naomi said. I've never seen this group make decisions behind a closed door. The door's open. You have non-public sessions to, if something is controversial as far as bringing a bad light to another person or something, in order to protect that person. But when it comes to financial decisions, I've been involved one way or another with this board for a long time, and it's always been straightforward. The door's open when you make decisions that have any financial input whatsoever. It's not behind closed doors. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Crickets. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Move on to the minutes of 8/2. Now this I did not prepare for. I didn't download it yet. So,
Slacker.
I'm a slacker.
Okay, move your conversation.
Selectmen's minutes. There they are.
You tell them to.
Shoo.
Okay, shush her. Are you gonna leave the door open?
Yeah, leave it open.
Dawn, you can leave it open. Okay.
Slam it in their face. It's okay.
Oh, boy.
Just as bad, they just move behind the door.
Yeah, please. I promise. That wasn't my intent.
8/2, page 1. Page 2. 3. 4.
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Just above department head and committee items, there is a paragraph there that I'm not sure really should be in there. First word is insight. That is, I don't think that should be minutes because that's not what the minutes
Correct.
are a legal document. It's not somebody's interpretation.
Right.
So personally, I feel that should not be in there.
Yeah, I know it's trying to clarify, but like you said, it wasn't actually mentioned in the meeting, so I think it should be probably removed. Is that what you're suggesting?
For discussion.
For discussion. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it wasn't discussed.
it wasn't discussed, I mean, it's,
The only discussion was brought up, that point was, where did that sayings came from?
Right.
But other than that,
Correct.
right.
I agree, but
It's listed in the minutes.
But this is beyond, this is above and beyond that, which, appreciate it, it's
Yeah.
just, I don't think it belongs in here. So-
It wasn't part of the meeting, so.
Right, so we'll remove that.
Yep.
Anything else on page 4 after that? 5. 6. And 7.
Make a motion to accept August 2nd, 2021 Board of Selectmen minutes as amended.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Brings us to your report.
Okay. I'm gonna first, before we get started, I got 2 more cemetery deeds, so if you'd be kind enough to sign them, and I'll get them after. Hang on.
Just the 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'll start at the top. Radio Forestry, the Conservation Commission met on Wednesday last week, and because of time lapse, they asked that I send out the hand-corrected one plus the new one to see where the changes are made on the forestry contract.
Okay.
And then they probably will be fine with it, and they won't have to have a joint meeting, then I could bring it back to you. But that won't happen till September 8th, so. The BOS meetings, I just updated it. So number 7. Yay, hey. Facebook, I said we did the unthinkable. We have a Facebook page.
Yay.
It's called the Ware Town Office. It's a government page, so we don't have any friends. We only have followers.
That's the truth.
We also have linked it to the Town of Ware website. If you go to the Town of Ware website, bottom front, it says Facebook, it brings you right to the page. Then you can click on follow us, and go from there. I said I'm asking for your patience by everyone, as Karen and I are the administrators, but neither one of us have Facebook, so I'm going to apologize up front for whatever happens. I'll do my best, and I'll learn along the way. So if anyone's out there, it is now searchable. It was not searchable for a few days. So if you were to search Ware Town Office, when you hit the search button, you'll find Ware Town Office, and it says right on it, it's the official Town of Ware governmental page. It's to be used for informational purposes for departments, job postings, alerts, or anything, because it is linked to my phone. So if there was something that I needed to put out there, I could do that. So we've already got 16 people.
Can the public send messages to this page?
You can send comments, but I'm not going to open up the post yet until I get comfortable with things. It's not meant to be,
It's not a form of communication to the town.
it's communication
From here
to the
out.
town, and you can comment, and I found out too that I can shut the comment off. So it's really, I mean, but comment could be as honest as something that we oversaw and made a mistake. You know what I mean? A spelling mistake was brought to our attention not too long ago. That had been on since February that nobody caught until a few months later.
Right.
So it's that type of thing. It's not going to be for a debate. You won't see me answer a good share of the time unless it can be something very quick. But it's going to be a step at a time. You won't see me have any rural comments back and forth and have a debate with anybody. That's not my nature.
No. And that's not the place to have it.
No, we just thought we would give somebody, instead of going to the website.
It's just another
It's an
avenue for
avenue.
information.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, when
And
we
I
talked
think
about it, that's all the board wanted.
Part of it is, like, we've got a couple job openings, we can post it, but I think if you hit the social media, then you can share it, you can follow it, you can take it from there. So I think it's another avenue that maybe opens things up very wide. So we've done it. I'll talk about it later if it works, so.
Gone to the dark side.
We went to the dark side. So, secondly, I have there's a timber harvest stumpage agreement that, the Conservation Committee also discussed. And it's to do with the Toby Hill Forest, up there at Toby Hill. You're welcome to share it. It's several pages, but they asked that the chairman sign it as the landowner and not the Conservation Commission. So I didn't read the whole through of all 8 pages. They had the forester, it came from the forester. Actually, one of the workers with the forester, Matthias, sent it over, but it was scrutinized very well at the Conservation Commission line and go from there. Let's see, move down to, I'm not gonna run through my schedule. Building and maintenance, Tom was here to go through the design, which we heard about earlier. The East Street barn roof, I did reach out to Century. He is gonna take a look at it. I don't know exactly when, because they're working with, obviously July was very wet, so they're working around jobs, and when he's in the area, he's thinking it would be this week, he would get back to me. But I did explain it was for the Historical Society and not something that the town probably would pay for, but we do own the building. That's why, so I'll keep you guys in a loop on that. The East Ware Station, as you know, Eversource put the sleeve on. I do have the insurance certificate. I'm just waiting for it to be scheduled. Riverdale Road, I reached out to the town engineer, who also has staff that is surveyors. They're interested in doing it. I'm gonna pull together what I need to do to try to save us some money. And that's to do down in the Riverdale Road in that intersection. Benji's not here right now, but I think I can work with him, provide him all that I can provide, and maybe cut the costs a little bit. And it brings me to number 9, which you guys have in your package. I need to talk about number 9 a little bit. 9 says East Shore Drive, Nichols Road. So what I did is I've provided you with, the front page has 2 pictures. They're 2 of the same picture. I took the picture at the top, which is from the road on Reservoir Drive, looking up East Shore or Nichols. There's a debate as to where Nichols starts or whatever. But anyway, you guys get where I am. Then I enlarged it a little bit more because there's a no parking sign posted there.
Where?
Okay, hang on. So I enlarged it a little bit at the bottom. Take a look under R and drop down. You see a little bit of white behind that bush? Go from the R reservoir at the end down. So then
You
flip
kidding me,
to,
right?
huh?
You're kidding me.
Nope, flip to the next one, and I'm not kidding you. I enlarged it another time. And there's your sign, and there's a front sign. So, Joe went over and measured. This is Joe's sketch. I'm not gonna put my name on this nice drawing. But Joe went over there, and I'll just skip to the back page. If you Google it, it actually shows East Shore coming off Reservoir Drive on Google Maps. He just wanted to point that out to me. So, right now, there's 24 feet wide on the paved area, or actually from guardrail to the mailbox line. If you look up in the book, East Shore Drive, as well as Nichols Road, shows 33 feet right away. But if it's East Shore Drive, I think John's father left us a 40-foot right away. So we were on the safe side, conservative side, and I went with 16 and a half. So Joe measured 16 and a half from what he could base the center of the road to be, and he said about 2/3 of that gravelled area is in the town right away. That's his best guess using a tape measure. So with that being said, how was someone to know they couldn't park there, first? Second, 2/3 of him was parked in the town right away. So he still hasn't got his trailer back.
And who put up this sign?
That's the next question. Who posted the
I
sign?
honestly don't know. I mean, it's, could be the landowner that owns
So
that.
this,
I don't know.
so confirming this is not a town posted sign.
We didn't, no, because you would have had to have a public hearing.
It's not on town property.
You would have had to have a public hearing to post your signs. If you remember the whole thing on Reservoir Drive, you had to have your public hearing before you could put
I
any of
wouldn't,
those signs.
just want to make sure that didn't happen prior to me coming on board. That's why I don't remember.
The other question, the $64,000 or $700 question in this matter is, who authorized the tow?
Right.
That's the question. Who authorized this company to go down there and hook that thing out of there?
So, is the sign on private property or town land?
Private property.
I think it's private property.
That's a
That's
civil
on private
issue?
property.
It's a civil
Say
issue?
that's private property.
Correct. They towed it off town property and they weren't towed,
Still a civil issue,
no.
as far as I'm
At
concerned.
that point, it's probably a criminal issue because they stole it.
It's not a Board of Selectmen issue.
No, but it's a criminal issue. They probably stole it or they didn't have the right to tow it.
I'm not going to dispute that, but this is not a Board of Selectmen issue in my mind.
Correct. I would agree. I would agree that
It's still a crappy deal that
with
this
John.
person got. But
if they were parked in the right of way, to me, they have a better case.
2/3 of him was, from what Joe estimated.
Right. So he has a better case in court, not here.
I empathize with the guy, but
But with that said, moving forward, I think that we as the town need to go up there somehow and mark that area. That's the town's. Whether it's delineator posts or what have you, to mark it and say that this is town, this is private.
Yeah.
And that would be our due diligence on the town side to say that's town land, this is not town land. And it would forego this issue ever again, I think. Even if, like I say, even if it was just some delineator posts, as long as they didn't get removed, and then that's theft, and then that's criminal. But to me, like John said, this is not a Board of Selectmen.
Okay.
This is criminal.
Yeah. And I think
Criminal versus private.
I think some of it's probably criminal, because if they just want to pawn it and tow it out of there on their own, because there's some sign there.
Yeah.
so you're all familiar with Clinton Street down there by Turkey Pond, where that 3-rail fence was put in. That was put in by, I believe, the landowner, separating the state right of way
Yes.
from his private property, because that had extended quite a ways into his private property.
And everybody was parking there trying to fish.
Right.
Yep. So I'm wondering if that's something maybe we need to consider to separate town versus.
Right. And I don't have, like I said, I don't have any problem with the DPW going down there and driving a couple delineator posts in and marking the spot.
Yep.
That's, the cost is nil.
I think before they do that, because we're not sure of the exact,
Right.
Yeah.
is to have the town engineer, put that on the list with them.
Right.
Our town engineer, the surveying, is to have them go out and actually
And
give
with-
them the marks to do it. It's, we got, you know, you got a right of way for 33 feet.
Yep.
Right.
Then, okay, mark the right of way 33 feet, and then at that
Yeah.
point,
And we also need to identify what that short stretch of road is. Is it East Shore or is it Nichols?
Yeah, and my thought would be after that is completed, because I think with the signs that we've put up down Reservoir, I think this is gonna become more of an issue. This is gonna become a hot topic, because people are trying to find a place to park. So, and.
That's
and
quite a hike, too.
That sign that was posted on the private property may have been fueled by the town's signs being put up down Reservoir. Just assuming, just guessing. But if that was the case, then we would put this to bed before it even becomes a bigger issue.
So I'm inclining that if you see in the bottom picture, that's where the East Road sign starts, so it would be my understanding. They posted it at the beginning of East Shore Drive, then I think where it abuts Reservoir is probably Nichols.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be where.
We
I
never
believe.
owned out there.
Okay,
We owned to the bridge at one point, the land,
yeah,
but.
but
yeah,
not the
we
roadway.
never-
Okay.
Our land quit back here, so this right here. is
Yeah, so
Nichols
that's
Road.
why I think where the
paved
sign
is
is,
Nichols.
this is where Reservoir Drive would start, I'm sorry, East Shore Drive would start.
Correct.
right
Which
by-
is there.
right there.
And this road here that goes up to
Is
Nichols
Nichols.
is now Nichols.
Yeah.
Nichols.
The
That's-
paved section is Nichols, and if we have
Yes,
to, have to
yes.
formally change that, which I don't think we should, I think it's just a clarification.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, Google Maps isn't a legal document anyway.
That's correct.
No, it's just to show you, I mean, there is a discrepancy out there, so if somebody was looking for something, it's gonna show.
They've got it listed as Nichols Road,
Nichols Hill.
Nichols Hill Road, I mean,
All right, so I get back to the gentleman and let him know that it's a civil issue?
Unfortunately, like John said, I sympathize with the individual, I do, but with the information we've provided tonight here, I think that individual has more of a case than ever.
you know,
Yeah, I mean, and I know, in speaking with someone that formerly lived on East Shore Drive, he called for something else, and he was called by the tow company to ask what he wanted to be done with it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it was a matter of
So is it-
driving by and see somebody's thing there and then call,
Yeah.
you know, 'cause I don't believe it was the police department that called him. It's just unfortunate, and, you know, now that you've made your determination, that's fine.
Can we determine if that tree is on town property? Where that,
well,
Well, I
I
think
think
that'd
if
be
they
the
go out
engineer.
there.
Well, I think if you're gonna have the engineer, you might as well.
if that
I'll give him
tree is
Project
on
B.
town property, that sign goes away, in my
Absolutely.
opinion.
well, yeah.
Then that goes from being 2/3 to
Fully,
100% in the town right away
Right.
at that point.
but I think that would be, the town engineer's report,
Yeah,
where
that's
that,
right.
where that line is. And
Right.
that's a public document, so share it with the individual.
Yeah, and there was a survey done further down. I was hoping I had it done at the beginning, but it wasn't. It was further down East Shore when
Yes.
there was a problem with between residences and
Yes.
parking
It's
and,
further down-
yes,
further
so
down.
that's further down. The survey only did a little ways down and a little
That-
ways
that's all-
beyond,
that's-
so.
Yeah.
So, that's all I have to offer you for tonight.
Awesome. Any correspondence, the business?
I got one thing.
Yes,
Apparently,
I know we have some,
people are complaining about the field by the gazebo. And it's been brought up several times. I've been in contact with Naomi on a weekly basis from the Patriotic Committee, that we are trying to get somebody to fix it. We had a Plan A in place, but due to all the 18 inches of rain in July and whatnot, that went out the window. We're now working on Plan B. Hopefully, by the end of this week, we'll have that in place. If not, then we'll be going, these plans were the, people were gonna help us by donating some of the materials and labor, so it wouldn't cost us so much money. But if neither one of them work out, we're gonna have to bite the bullet. We will get it done.
Yeah.
You know, we apologize that it's taken so long, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Mother Nature hasn't helped.
Mother Nature certainly didn't help.
no. When does the DPW director return from his vacation?
August 24th.
We did receive a couple of emails over the weeks.
Mm-hmm.
One regarding a residence on Cram Road, or Gettings, I guess you should say, on Gettings, and another one on Old Francistown, both for the DPW, well, one for the DPW and one for
Old friends.
code enforcement. I'll
Okay.
call it.
So could we elaborate on that little conversation for a little bit?
Mhm.
So, right now, we have Romeo for 25 hours a week.
Correct.
Right now, he's got at least 25 inspections a week
Mhm.
that he has to get to. And they're not just drive-bys. He goes in, he looks at it, he spends some time, explains to people what's wrong if there's something wrong.
Makes recommendations.
So with that being said, we don't have somebody at the moment for code enforcement. So what I was thinking is the one out on Gettings Road honestly needs to be documented by us. It's been said that it's an effort of cleaning up Blake Road and taking it to Gettings Road. So I don't know if you guys, or I don't want to make it a meeting, but if a couple of you might be willing to go verify Gettings Road to see what's out there, because it's going to drop in our lap.
Right.
And I think we can't just put a blind eye, even though Romeo doesn't have time right now. And I need to elaborate on that too, because people are getting extremely upset that they can't call and have him there in an hour.
Doesn't happen that way.
So, but also, I mean, times have changed. Things are very busy. And he's one person that the town voted no to make full-time. So we're doing what we can do, but we might be a week out for inspections, for one. But code enforcement, he has been working with me on a couple other ones. But I think this one here, there's been some pictures generated and some other things that I think we should verify first. Laura doesn't have a problem helping us, but, I mean, you could take a picture anywhere. I don't know. But if we documented it ourselves with some pictures, Laura could then go to the person, just like we did to Blake Road. But short of me going out and finding Blake Road, Gettings Road, and doing that by myself, which I don't think is advisable, if you guys might be able to, if a couple of you wanted to, either one or two, partner up and go. I don't want to make three for a meeting, but just to see what's there and verify what indeed, and like I said, it's not trying to...
We need to verify the complaint.
Right, you need to verify that that's truly there, because there's nothing in there that indicates it's in where, just like with any picture. That's why they take pictures.
And we can only do it from the street. Obviously, we can't go on the gentleman's private property.
That's correct.
Yep.
But it
I
would
just want
be,
to make
it
that
would
clear
be,
for the record.
right.
That's been alluded to for months, and that was alluded to before we lost our last land use coordinator.
Yeah.
She
Well,
She had some type of
so, but hang on to
documentation
that
on that.
comment, because for the mere fact that there was a file opened with the former one with
going to get
municipal group.
Okay.
So she just asked for us to go verify without short of me going out there. But if we could go verify, that is an active, opened situation still.
Yep.
Because one of the residents has acquired legal counsel, which she's got that letter. So, if we can take pictures and electronically, I can send them to her, they can take it from there. But we need to verify that's truly what's going on. The rest of, honestly, we're pulling it together. He's doing some things, you know, he's staying longer than he should, but that's just because his heart's in the right place. But again,
we appreciate that.
But again, I just want people to understand, it's not a, it's no means of, and we've talked about implications of voting no. Unfortunately, it's here, and we have one person,
Right. That's correct.
so.
We're not doing it maliciously. It's
No, it's not being done
Just
to
staffing.
to have him sit here, because people come down here and say, hey, he's gone. I said, I understand that. He stays in the morning for a little while, and then he's gone.
It's gone.
You know, he's doing a great job. I've heard a lot of good compliments. You know, it's not just a stop and a sign off. He really truly looks things over, and if you have a question or a contractor has a question, he sits and takes a few minutes with you.
That's good. That's
So-
what we want.
But if somebody wants to go out to Gettings Road, you don't have to tell me when, just let me know from the road. If you take pictures, send them to me, I'll get them to Laura. The old Francistown Road, you and I had that conversation. I did email him, I think you guys all saw.
Yep.
And explained he'd be back. I haven't heard from him, but I also copied Joe with it.
Yep.
Actually, Benji was on that
Yep.
email list.
And then there was another one from Hodgson too for some watershed that Sherry forwarded to us.
That's right. But
Yes, actually, that also got forwarded to
some of that's DES.
Conservation.
Okay.
Should go to
Went to
conservation.
conservation as well.
Just it was
Yeah.
correspondence. I wanted to
Yeah.
bring it
They're
up. That's all.
dumping it in the stream, it's DES's issue too.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, so it went to the conservation as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, some of it, look at we've had the rainiest July on record in a million years. It's
Yeah.
What is the second rainiest July ever? I think is the third
it's
rainiest.
recorded history, so.
Yeah.
Hang on, when I get more wet in the next couple of days.
Yeah, tropical
Something like
storm
that,
at the end
yeah.
of the week, I heard, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But, water's gotta go somewhere.
Yeah.
We're all done with correspondence. Can we go back to other business real quick?
It's kind of the same.
Sure. All right. Back to this document. Beth had put some wish list items, even though she hates that term. I say let's move forward with getting quotes on these, and then just so we can start the process, because in
Well-
a very short period of time, we're going to be coming up on budget season. And
Well,
we're
I
still
don't-
meeting every other week.
I don't disagree with the fact of potentially getting 3 bids, quotes, slash, et cetera. I first want to run them all by legal counsel to prove their.
Okay, no, makes sense.
To verify that they're good. And if they are, then we seek.
The only one I question, and I'm not sure how that would fall under after reading that horrible document, was the library's request. I don't see how that could fall under the ARPA.
Yeah.
That's more of your government building and maintenance fund, I
Yeah.
believe.
It sounded like he was asking for it under
He
ARPA,
was
unless I
kinda
misunderstood.
Yeah, it sounded like it
Trying to
was.
sell it under ARPA. We
Yeah.
hadn't even accepted the money.
Well, I think
yet.
more for the fact of the economic impact,
Right.
more under that article, that's what I took.
The other thing was some of it to make, to expedite some of this, like, for instance, the filtering, the air conditioning. I mean, we've already got a vendor that we do business with that's doing the work on all these. Yeah, same with like, the reverse osmosis system for the water. Benji handles all of that. We've already got a vendor that does all the water purification.
No, if we have one.
was it
No.
We have Second Wind,
Second Wind,
because there's already one over there.
yeah.
The library has one.
Yeah, but I
And they do a lot of the work with him at the water plant over here, so.
I don't disagree, but I wouldn't necessarily, we're not contracted with them per se. So but there's other,
Yeah, I think
there's
we
other
are. I
places
think
in.
There's a contract with them on to do those.
Oh, we don't have any written with them.
No, nothing, no. There are other businesses in town that would probably like a shake at it.
Yeah.
So.
I know the water. Everything I read, the RO system is
Yeah.
definitely available, is definitely a valid spend of.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, yeah. All the water items.
The water
in the
that
air.
comes through these
Yeah, in
buildings
the air.
is definitely.
Yep.
Yeah. Water
And-
and the air.
And the potential that Beth alluded to of saving $1,100 a year on bottled
Bottled water, yeah,
Um,
is an offset.
that would definitely help.
Yeah, bottled water is.
But,
I'm just gonna say right up front, I didn't say it, and I could have very well said it. There is no way in God's green earth we would even ask for money for the workers. That is like off the scale. That is something we would never consider
Right.
due to the fact that we've already gotten money, and you've also, the employees that were here and not here got paid and didn't
Right.
skip a beat.
And
So-
there
was no
So
real.
I think it,
and
you know.
Beth is
it-
accurate, because whatever we do, we are now, the taxpayers are now on the hook for that, regardless
Unless
whether.
you give them a bonus, then it's a
Right.
one-time. But I'm just saying, it was not part of
It's not in the
either one
plan.
of our lists.
No.
No, that's
It
fine.
had to be mentioned because it's on the breakdown.
The ARPA actual breakdown,
But
right?
you didn't see us add anything there.
No.
And there's no intention, at least on my part, for us to even do anything.
Right.
No matter what we accept that money for, we're on the hook for it and after it runs out and the maintenance of it, so.
I'll find
Right.
out, you know, I'll find out the questions that were asked tonight. And getting 3 quotes,
We can at least start with it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Is
no,
it- it's gonna
I'm
take
trying to, so you're gonna leave it up to me to put together the RFP? Is that your thought? You gotta draft an RFP if you're gonna do that.
Leave it up to the, well, for the water, I would get the input of the other department heads. For the items that are specific to those departments, that should be up to them, in my opinion.
I think really the only thing that you alone should be is the air handling.
Yeah, which I have, honestly, I have the number, I have the whole thing from when we went to town meeting 2 years ago.
Right, which
I
will
just
help.
refreshed that.
Right.
Yeah.
Did that include the air handler purifying system, or just?
No,
HVAC?
it didn't. That's what I mean. I have to.
Or just
adjust
tag
it.
that on,
Yeah.
right?
But, you know, you say, leave the water system up to each individual department head.
Well, no, that needs to be under one.
That has to be one, because,
Yeah.
I mean, you get the,
We're gonna get the maximum benefit with one vendor.
yeah,
But I'm thinking
because, I
like,
mean, to have each department head do it, no, because the town government buildings, we're the ones that's gonna be actually.
no, I was
responsible.
referring to like, the fire chief was asking for new radios and pagers. That's the fire chief
Right.
handling that. The whole radio system, that's back on us again.
Oh, sure.
The water system, because
Public
it
Works
follows under
Director.
everybody, that's under us.
Actually, should be Benji. He's got
It's
the water.
Benji, he's the,
Right.
He's
he's
got the water certificate. Yeah.
the- he's the one that's.
Benji's got the wastewater and the
Fresh water.
drinking water
Yeah, yeah.
certifications.
Yep.
Right.
So it'd be oversight with that.
The heating request, I'd like to see if that's kosher under the ARPA.
Yeah, I would too.
Well, I mean, the air quality, and they're talking
I
about
think air quality they mean for like indoor in a confined area, not pollution outside. That's the way I would interpret it.
Well, if that thing backfires, which it does
But
lots
yeah,
of
see,
times
that's what
down
it's,
there,
a lot of times they get in there
and
and,
it's backfired,
A pellet stove can do the same, can backfire too. So
but not like that.
and then what are you gonna do?
yeah.
The real problem with the waste oil furnace is that synthetic oil doesn't burn. And that's what people are bringing in.
And so what's happening, you're getting
That's
everybody's
what's
oil
happening.
together.
It's mixing, it'll burn a small percentage, but we're getting too large of a percentage. It gums up the thing and he's having to clean it.
But then now, so that also, what is, as Mr. Campana brought up, what is the added cost now? Because now we've got to get rid of waste oil.
Yeah.
What is the added cost to make that?
Well,
There are some that'll pay you for it.
there's some companies that come and pick it
Not
up.
very often anyway. They pick it up, but they
They'll
charge
pick it
you.
up.
There's
some
businesses
do,
in
some don't.
town, why can't you just do like there's businesses in town that burn oil.
Because I wouldn't take it. If
Just
I didn't know
saying.
you, I wouldn't take it. And
I'm
put it in
just
my
saying,
machine, gum
I
it
know
up.
There's several businesses that burn waste oil.
Right. But there's also DES tracking that goes along with it too. I'm pretty sure.
I can remember as a kid, you know what we did with it?
Dig a hole and bury it.
Nope, we walked up and down the road with it.
Yes.
It was
Keep the
dust
dust down.
control.
Yeah.
They used to.
I think they frown on that nowadays.
Up until.
You know how old I am?
Probably the 80s.
1979, 1980, the towns contracted BD oil out
Oh,
of
yeah.
Plastow to come and do it, and oil roads until they
remember
had
that.
somebody
Yeah.
complained and they found it was loaded with PCBs.
Yeah.
From, from,
See how time has
From-
changed.
TCI.
no, from, from the electric company, that's where most of it comes, the electric company transformers.
So
they use as
so I'll get some legal opinions.
Yes.
I don't think she's gonna probably weigh in directly as far as, what's acceptable and what's not.
Actually, yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Is Laura really the right person we should be asking, or is there somebody at New Hampshire Municipal that would be better suited for this?
I mean, I can try Steve,
Yeah.
Steve Buckley, and there's a couple other attorneys there. I can try them. They have had their hand in this the whole way. But at the end of the day, I think it's the federal government that's gonna say yes or no.
Right. And that's what I'm looking, but if we can head it off with an absolute no,
Yeah.
even at the local level, then all right, well, then we back up 10 and punt. But if it's that looks okay, then maybe we escalate to somebody at the federal government and say, all right, this is an idea, can
Now,
we?
I mean, the
your
state's-
your statement, you said it's the federal government ultimately that says no. Do we have to run any of this by the feds?
No.
Okay.
What you have to do is you have to put all your paperwork together
So when they
in the
audit,
reporting for the auditing. So what you spent it on and what your reasoning was.
Yep.
We had to do the same with Gopher. It's nothing different.
So
It's absolutely nothing different than what we did with all that Gopher money.
let me ask you this.
And it all passed.
So when you appropriate the money and, yep, we spend it, 5-vote, it's spent, items are installed, forms are submitted, denied. Who's on the hook? Town aware?
Yep.
I don't know. It's a hypothetical question I'd like the
Yeah.
answer to.
Yeah, you're gonna be on the hook.
Because if we're on the hook for 60 grand worth of these, where are we gonna pull that off? Not saying that would be, because to me, that's a legit.
It's,
But-
I think it fits it perfectly.
It fits it
There's-
perfectly,
There's
but-
some that are
But
gray.
you know what I'm saying? If there
I'm
was
not saying.
an expenditure for $60,000 and all of a sudden there was a big stamp on it that said denied, then where are we at?
We're on the hook.
I believe that's exactly.
I've
So,
been involved in federal spending before.
I just don't
when I
wanna.
worked for the state.
I don't
and
wanna
they-
be in that seat.
And they come and audit you, and all of a sudden they're going, oh yeah, well, you didn't spend that money right, or where is it?
Yeah.
Where's the?
Well, I think the where is it won't be an issue around here.
Well, no,
but-
like I'm saying, if you say you bought a piece of equipment like a truck,
Yeah, yep.
you have certain requirements to hold that truck. And sometimes they will tell you, if you go to get rid of it, you can't take it to the auction.
That's
You have
correct.
to give it back to the US government, and they'll dispose of it and take the money.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not sure a truck is
Oh, yes.
valid. No, I'm not sure
Oh,
it's
well-
valid under this. Again, these requests, I'd love to get
Yes.
some.
The message boards are definitely,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think, yeah,
that is.
yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
That's already been approved by Gopher, and it's following the same.
And I think we get another one, get a bigger one.
Certain vehicles that if it was a command vehicle, that
For-
would be approved.
For
you know,
Homeland Security type thing.
For that
For
or
emergency- yeah.
emergency response to,
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
passed the first one.
yeah, that would pass in
Mm-hmm.
a second. So, I mean,
So there's some that are,
Some
like I
truck, I
said,
don't know.
gray. There's no clear cut. You guys tried to read through that whole
Right.
Yep. pages.
It's a lot.
There's nothing clear cut. There's nothing yes, no.
Just the one thing I
All
remember
all
is if we
kinds
don't
of
use it,
verbiage.
we give it back in 2026. That's
Right.
the one thing I remembered.
goes to the, the state gets their cut.
State gets their cut off.
They
Go
get
out
it
on a
back.
limb and say,
Right.
I think you'd be fine.
Right, so, okay. Anything else come for the board?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Yes.
Aye.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Good night.